Afternoon, guys. How we doing? Got Red Sox third baseman Hudson Potts. Brendan, you want to lead it off? Introduce yourself too, these guys.
Absolutely. Hudson, Brendan McGear, Pawtucket Times. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I wanted to begin with kind of just looking at your career trajectory to date, your first three pro seasons. You know, each season began with some form of struggles, but it seemed like either July or August of either season, you kind of turned it on. Has there like a singular thing you can kind of place like the turnaround on, like maybe adjustments at the plate, something someone said to you, or how do you interpret your career to date?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, every year obviously starts off, different level or different team or different kind of setting all around. But I think you just make adjustments and whatever throughout the league that you kind of pick up on, and I feel like you get more comfortable and just get more experience every year. And I feel like you just got to stick with it, even if you're struggling at the beginning. You just got to stick with it, and eventually you just got to trust it, and eventually you'll come out of it. And it's a long season, so you can't really dwell on too much. So you kind of got to just stay in the day to day.
Is it more obviously having a can-do attitude as well, knowing that, I belong here. The pitchers might have the upper hand of me right now, but it's up to me to make an adjustment and believe in myself.
Oh, yes, sir, for sure. I mean, it's definitely both mental and physical. There's all, some different struggles can be more mental rather than physical, but you just kind of got to figure that out once you go and know and be smart about some of the adjustments you're making, for sure.
What's it been like joining a new organization during the pandemic, and how have you taken to get to know the players around here and as well as the coaches?
Yeah, for sure. It's obviously everything's brand new, so it was a surprise getting traded over here, but I'm super excited for the opportunity and getting to know everyone here, and it's been a good time here so far, and I've known a few of the players from playing with them in the fall league last year, so I knew a couple of the guys, but it's been a blast and trying to get acclimated to everything and get comfortable.
You mentioned the Arizona Fall League. How beneficial, you went to it each of the past 2 years. How has that been beneficial to your career?
Yes, sir. It's been very beneficial. Picking up on new stuff, being around other guys, and trying to learn small things and kind of just bounce ideas off one another and get some work in and get to face a very high level of competition out there. So it's been nothing but good things, and I'm glad I was able to experience all that.
You came up as a shortstop in high school, kind of made the transition to third base. You touched a little bit of second and first. Do you see yourself as a guy, jack of all trades, can kind of play anywhere, or do you still see yourself more as a third baseman at this point?
Yeah, I grew up playing shortstop, obviously, and I kind of was bounced around a little bit. I played most of my career at third base, but I'm learning all the other positions, and I feel like I can move around good enough to be able to bounce around if I need to. So whatever the team needs me to do, I'll do and get comfortable with and work as hard as I can for that. So I definitely pride myself on my defense as well. So just try to be able to do whatever the team needs me to do.
Appreciate the time. Welcome to New England, and best of luck going forward.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Hey, Hudson, welcome.
Hey, how are you?
Good, thanks. You talked about this a little bit with Brendan just a second ago, but it's always strange when you get traded, and it's the first time you've been through something like that. I just wonder if you could kind of take us through what that was like when you heard about it, what your emotions were, and then, you had to make plans and travel and meet all these new people. What was that process like for you to go through for the first time?
Yeah, no, it was definitely a different experience for sure. I mean, it kind of felt like I was drafted all over again. It kind of all was kind of a surprise out of nowhere, but then, it's time to turn things around and get going and head out here. So there's a lot of, I didn't like that day, I guess I didn't really have too much time to think about it and think about all the relationships I've had, with the Padres organization. But it was definitely a new experience for sure. But it's been good and it's been fun and just really excited to get out here. sir.
I can follow up on that.
Are you comfortable talking about the name change after being a first-round draft pick that happened, or would you rather not talk about that story?
Oh yeah, I mean it's my stepdad's last name, but he's been my dad my whole life. So once I was able to change my name, I changed my name to that name, and that's the name my whole family went by. So I wasn't able to change it until I turned 18. So that's the reason for that, and I thought of myself as a Potts my whole life. So that's the story for that.
Hudson was drafted. Last name was Sanchez, correct, at the time you were drafted, and then you changed it to Potts.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Padres, you must have a lot of friends on the Padres. Did you expect him to be playing so well and Slam Diego catching on like it has?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was around those guys, through the system. So, and in spring training a couple of years. So, it was good learning from those guys, and you see the talent going up and being around those guys all the time. So you know the type of talent that they had. So it's not a surprise. I was around it for many years now. So, but no, they're doing some pretty exciting things over there. So.
Hudson, I had a question for you just about the Boston Red Sox system. What was it like from an outsider looking at this organization, and now you're part of it?
Yeah, for sure. I was around a couple of the guys last year in the fall league, so I kind of saw how they went about their business, and now just to be here and kind of learn what stuff as small as like the drills they do for different stuff, and like the thought process behind certain aspects of the game. It's pretty cool to experience it and learn new things, and I feel like it's nothing but beneficial to be around the new team and kind of learn their ways and try to do the best I can.
Thank you.
Hudson, I think I read you were a Texas Rangers fan growing up. Any favorite players from that team? I mean, those two World Series teams that made it back-to-back years.
Yeah, no, I lived probably 20 minutes from the stadium, so I grew up being a fan my whole life and had season tickets, a few years. So I was a big fan of Michael Young and Ian Kinsler when I was younger. So those are kind of guys that I followed because I was an infielder, and I like the way they went about their business and how they were kind of just certain aspects of the game as far as hitting and stuff like that. So.
Hey Hudson, how would you describe yourself as a hitter? What's your approach like? What's the way that kind of defines you in the box?
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of. I'm sure the results have been the same. I mean, similar throughout the years, but I feel like, obviously I'm learning every year, but I feel like I'm nowhere, close where I am capable of being, and I feel like there's a couple, adjustment, approach, changes that I have learned, as I was able to learn over this past offseason to work with some of those guys and take it into this season. Obviously, this season has changed a little bit, so I'm just trying to work on that stuff here and kind of key in on my approach. I know, I'm capable of some power and stuff like that. So just getting myself to positions to take my best swing and swinging at pitches that I want to hit. So that's kind of what I've struggled with in the past, and what I'm trying to take from here on out and to work on here while I'm here during these games.
Hudson, as a Rangers fan, did you grow up rooting for Mitch Moreland?
Yeah, so I watched him. I don't know what exact years he first was playing for them, but I definitely followed and watched them when I was in high school and maybe middle school. But yes, sir, I'm very familiar with him and watching him play.
So how crazy was it then to come full circle and be traded directly for him?
Yeah, no, that was definitely pretty crazy to see when that was announced. And obviously, a lot of my friends that I grew up watching, a lot of my best friends from high school, say stuff about it, and they think it's cool and stuff like that. So it's crazy, to think that I'm in a situation now where that's even capable of happening. So it's something cool to see, but definitely excited to be in this spot looking forward to everything.
Just for people that don't know you as a person, I know you talked about yourself as a hitter, but for fans just introduced to Hudson Potts, what do you do for fun? Like, how do you explain yourself?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm a pretty chill guy. You know, I'm at the field, I, you know, get my work in, work as hard as I can, and kind of pretty focused. But off the field, you know, I'm kind of hanging out. You know, obviously here not too much, but if I'm just at home or during the season, you know, kind of just watching movies, hanging out with my friends. You know, talking to my family on the phone, and pretty just hanging out. Nothing too crazy. I'm not really into too many video games or anything like that. So pretty much just hanging out and trying to learn stuff about anything I can. So pretty. I don't know, it sounds kind of boring, but try to, I feel I'm able to occupy my time pretty well.
Hudson, I think I also read that you, growing up, played football, other sports, basketball, but then got to high school, kind of concentrated more on baseball. Just what was the decision like? Travel ball and just focusing exclusively on one sport.
Yeah, I played a lot of sports growing up. I played football maybe 1 year. I wasn't too big of a fan of that, but I played tennis and basketball and track and obviously baseball. But once I got to high school, baseball was what I've always wanted to do, and I knew that I wanted to key in on that, and I didn't want to affect that or get in the way of my health and stuff. So once I got to high school, I focused on that, and then travel ball was always big down in Texas, so I was able to play a lot of games throughout the year. So it was, that was my life. So that's what I wanted to do, and just put in the work I needed to do for that. So it was a very easy decision for me, and one that I knew was going to happen, and there really was no decision to be made. I just kind of played the other sports just for fun and just to be athletic and just for fun. So.
Hudson, when the trade was made, obviously, the first thing we read about you is that you're a power hitter, somebody who has a capability to hit home runs, and someone who is going to be strong at the plate. I wonder, what is it like to be identifiable based on a tool that you carry or a skill set that you carry? When you read something or see something and it says Hudson Potts, he's a power hitting prospect. What's that like?
I feel like, I know that that's what everyone says or talks about and sees, but I know that that's probably one of the things that has been one of my better things throughout my career. But I think that once I learn and make these the adjustments of my approach I need to make, I feel like I can be a lot more than just a power guy. I feel like I can be a complete hitter, and I just need to work on that and get to that spot that I know I'm capable of doing. So that's what I'm striving to be, is an all-around hitter. It's not just a power hitter. So hopefully get this work in and kind of learn stuff and apply some of the approach stuff that I've learned about and worked on in the off season and take it into the rest of this year and then next season. So that's what I know I'm capable of doing. So, but as far as your question goes, yeah, that is, it stands out. It's cool that it stands out, or what, but I see myself as being capable of being a complete hitter.
Is there an area, since you were drafted, over the last 2 or 3 years, is there an area, a skill set that you feel like you've made the most progress on, that you feel like you've worked on the most and you've seen progress and you're proud of, not only the work that you've done in that area, but of the results that you've seen so far?
I think all aspects of the game. Once I was drafted, I was 17, so I had a long way to go and learn my body and learn everything and work on anything from throwing to running to defense and everything about hitting. So I feel like I've had to learn, and I was kind of dragged into a spot where I needed to learn quick, one of those signs. So that's what I've done, and I feel like I've brought all levels of my game up since then, and I've just tried to work on everything as hard as I can. So I mean, I feel like there was a lot of stuff I changed right when I was drafted, that were improvements, improvements for my body and for small stuff, throwing and, some defensive mechanical stuff and a lot of hitting stuff and just getting to that consistent level, of the high competition that you're playing every day. So, and that was an adjustment that I expected to make when I got to pro ball, and it was nothing overwhelming at all, but just going through it and getting the reps in throughout the season was very important for me, and it's been a good ride so far. So,
Any other questions, guys? Appreciate the time, Hudson. Thank you very much.
yes, sir. Thank y'all. Have a good one.
You're all
Thank you.
Go ahead, Bill.
And we're going to stay on the line. Joe will put you in the waiting room. Thank you, Hudson. We're going to bring in Rich Gedman.